And welcome back. So I'm going to show you what I made with what I've been growing. So this is my delicious abundance harvest that I picked today, and we're going to take her inside. Look at the garden. She's doing well. I have full garden tours. So for my food, I usually store a lot of it in the fridge because I know a lot of people are asking me that. For things like Swiss chard, I take those in the house. I'll wash them. Make sure to wash all your fruit. This is important. And I just made some tomatoes with some steamed Swiss chard. Same thing with this dish, some steamed Swiss chard with tofu, rice, and a little piece of sweet potato. Delicious. Then with this dish, I steamed some Swiss chard over some jasmine rice with some sesame seeds and protein, some tofu and Swiss chard and jasmine rice. You see the pattern here. I love jasmine rice, love some Swiss chard, and I love a nice sauce on top of my protein of source. And then, of course, with my cucumber, I eat them raw. I juice them. I also slice them up for salads. I sliced them up to pickle them. So this is me pickling them for later on to make my own pickles. I made sweet pickles, hot pickles, curry pickles. Then, of course, with my tea. So I grow chamomile. I had fresh chamomile tea for the first time, and y'all, this changed my life. I drank this at night, and it is so good. No sweetener added. Then for my tomatoes. So I'm growing an abundance of about 7 or 8 varieties of tomato. Now with my tomato, I love these things. So I do a lot of different things. I freeze them. I also make sauces. So I canned a lot of my tomatoes, making tomato sauce from scratch, 3 ingredients. Let me know if you want to see that. And you can see I have some canned product, blueberries, the cucumber, my plums. And then of course I use them on pizzas. You know, tomatoes just work on pizzas. This is my tomato on pizza with some homemade cashew cheese, some homemade pesto from some basil and stuff I had in my garden, and that is the pizza. So, and some peppers, of course. And that is one of many of the things I use my tomatoes for. Make sure to get in there and cut it so you guys can actually see what it looks like. It is delicious. There's nothing like homegrown tomatoes. Let me tell you that much. They are delicious. They're nutritious. They taste like love. And then, of course, I added them to some grits with some homemade vegan cakes. And then, of course, I chop them up and I add them to soups. You can also add them to pizzas. They work inside of a soup. This is a soup that I made. Then, of course, I put some on top of a pizza because I love pizza. Pizza and I are best friends. We just get along. And then, of course, with my cauliflower, now you can do so much with this. You can do cauliflower wings. You can do cauliflower rice. You can do cauliflower hash. Do whatever you love with cauliflower. But I also love eating my vegetables raw. So that's a pea. I love eating vegetables with hummus. This is a sweet potato hummus. That's a banana pepper. Love my banana peppers with some sweet potato hummus. And then, of course, a bell pepper or sweet pepper with some hummus. So it literally just eating them raw, washing them off, and eating them fresh is delicious. These are some mushrooms I grew, and I made a mushroom sandwich out of that. And, of course, Chickpea loves all the goodies that I grow. So that's zucchini. And in here we have peppers that I grew with some potatoes, just sauteed with a little bit of salt, garlic, and onion. And then tofu and zucchini that I grew that you saw in the previous. And then again, the zucchini I grew roasted with a little bit of seasoning with a bean burger and some multigrain rice. And then, of course, some strawberries I grew and raspberries I grew on top of yogurt with some granola and coconut. And then, of course, my salad. I made this beautiful garden salad, literally, because everything that I grew was from the garden. And this is what that looked like. I just topped it with a little bit of olive oil, balsamic vinaigrette. And then, of course, my mint. I love adding mint to my smoothie, a green smoothie. And I juice my wheatgrass because it's supposed to be really good for you. And I have that. And then, of course, my herbs. You can do so much with this. I put it on top of focaccia. I dry it out. I make teas out of them. The possibilities are endless. And this is the focaccia once it was all done. And then, of course, I add it to pastas. I add it to dishes. This is some of the spinach I grew with some tofu and a cauliflower Alfredo, and then of course I added to some ramen to fancy it up. This is an organic ramen, and then of course with my kale, this is Russian kale, and I love Russian kale. So with my Russian kale, I juice it. You can make it into salad, but it is best if you're looking to juice a kale. This is one of the best ones, in the purple one. And I just juiced my own kale that I grew. This made me so happy. I also love just roasting vegetables all together in the oven, seasoning it, and then enjoying it. Also pairing some blueberries with other fruits, and then just sauteing some onions and peppers together. And that's it. Keeping it super simple with all my meals.